All right. Welcome everybody to what I can only hope will be yet another flawless, beautiful scrum-diddly-umptious day of Overwatch here at the Owlet tournament. We are going into preseason day 3 with Kraken Skulls facing off against Dumpster Divers. I am Steidel24, your play-by-play caster, and joining me for color and analysis is going to be Piper once again. How are you doing, buddy?
Man, Steidel, I am doing absolutely fantastic today, and I am really excited that we are going to get to see two brand new teams to Owlet today. It's going to be absolutely amazing to get to see these two teams in preseason action, so we can kind of get an idea what they're going to be all about heading into our season starting up next week.
Nice little mix that we've had over the past couple days. Yesterday, we got to see that beautiful match between Burn and Microsoft Excelsior, two seasoned Owlet teams, and now we get to see some of the new guys coming into the competition. See what they bring to the table.
Well, I can definitely tell you just right off the bat, they bring some fantastic names to the table, like Kraken Skulls. What a name! What a name! I mean, we were talking about this beforehand, and does anybody have a better name than Kraken Skulls right now? I don't think so.
I don't know, but Burn with its logo, it's hard to beat that Minecraft fire logo.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty iconic. I mean, you really cannot beat that Minecraft fire that they have going on. So I think we'll give them best logo, but Kraken Skulls is definitely in contention for best name right now.
We will be starting things off on Ilios today, just to let you guys know what the full map pool is going to be looking like as we get into this matchup. We will be having Ilios to start things off, followed by Hanamura, that 2CP, then Kings Row, and then Havana. Now, Piper, if you had to pick one of these four maps to be your favorite to watch teams play on, which one would you choose?
That's a really tough one, but I think for me personally, I love Kings Row. Kings Row is just an amazing map. You can do so much fun stuff on it. There's a lot of creative things that you can try. And my favorite play in Overwatch League history ever happened on that map. The Great Bamboozle, in the quarterfinals, London versus LA Gladiators. Gladiators, fake out that they're going goats. They do that huge long rotate behind to, make London think that they're going to go up for the high ground up top. And then Surefour's just sitting in spawn. Pops up with that Widow, clicks a few heads, and that was all she wrote. So I really gotta say I'm excited. I'm really excited for Kings Row today. But we also have a lot of other good maps in store for you today, folks.
Yeah, I'm personally looking forward to seeing Havana. I don't think that strategies have really been solidified yet, so it's kind of a map where I'm expecting to find some of those more intricate out there strategies, because it's a map that teams may not be used to playing at such a competitive level.
Yeah, and we talked about this yesterday about Havana being a new map, and like you said, people not really having set strategies on it. And looking at Havana, it's a really tough map to game plan. I mean, the first point is a lot like the streets phase of Kings Row, where you have the very narrow streets leading up, but also a lot of, high ground positions that snipers can be successful from. But then you get into that second point, and it's very tight and congested. So, if you pick a Pharah in that first point, you might struggle to get a lot of value with that Pharah coming into second. And then third point, it opens way up again, and there's a lot of space that needs to be taken, which lends itself really well to a lot of heroes with mobility and heroes that can take really long sightlines. So I'm going to be really interested to see what these two teams do on that map, because really there's not a whole lot of pro play or top level play to go off of. So I'm going to be excited to see what game plans they bring to the table here today.
And speaking of game plans and bringing them to the table, we're starting off with Ilios. So you can, I'm, just assuming, you can expect a couple of those environmental heroes, the Pharahs, the Lucios, maybe even a Doomfist or two, a Hammond or something coming into this. But if you had to build an ideal composition based off of the current meta going into Ilios, what heroes would you throw into that mix?
I mean, personally for me at this level, my ideal composition probably would be looking at a tank line of a Hagarisa. I really do like that Halt Hook combination, especially if you get a map like Well. it can be used to really good effect. But even on ruins, I feel like you can use it fairly well. If you bunker up in the corner of the point, you can get some good effect on that. And it's also really good on Lighthouse as well for kind of pulling the team into your bunker on the point and then, ganking them. And then I'd probably throw in something like a Pharah in there. That would probably be one of my DPS picks. Maybe a Reaper or a May. Those are kind of the DPS that I could see you playing around with. Maybe even throw a McCree or Hanzo in there. And then for supports for me, I like Mercy and the Baptiste, especially with Baptiste's Immortality Field. That works incredibly well, especially with a bunker, because you're all are going to be grouped up anyways. So if you're going to stay grouped up, you might as well use that Immortality Field because it's going to be able to keep your team alive and give your healers a chance to get everybody back up to full health. So that would be my ideal comp for this map.
I will say that Baptiste Immortality Field is kind of like a temporary 6th man, or 7th man, should I say. Hopefully you've got a 6th man on the field. But temporary 7th man on the field, as you have to get that focus down before you can really make any headway getting into the rest of the fight.
Yeah, and if you throw a Mercy into that mix too, I mean, you do run the risk of that being a little bit light on the healing, but ideally you should have an Orisa that's able to cycle their shields well enough and their Fortify that it's never really going to be an issue. And I mean, the value of a Res, which is a 7th man really, and an Immortality Field, you're practically playing with, 8 players on the field if you want to phrase it that way. So we are actually going to open things up here on Well, which I think will be the best map for that Halt Hook combination that I was talking about.
And we were able to see Burn put on quite a masterclass here on Ilios yesterday. Or I'm sorry, Microsoft Excelsior able to put on quite a masterclass here on Ilios yesterday using that Halt Hook combo. We saw them hooking that Sigma into the hole multiple times here. So we'll see if both teams decide to take that initial position right out of the gate in between those two pillars, or if they're going to, maybe make it a little bit different and take it off to the sides to the indoors areas.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll have to see what they want to do. We talked about yesterday how teams can kind of get creative with some Rein Zarya strats like that and go through the indoor portions and use some speed plays to kind of get in the face of the bunker comps. But I also think if we are going to see teams playing that Sigma today as well, they have to be able to use him to better effect to block things like a hook, because he should be able to see the Halt Hook coming and throw it out there. And oh, look at that. We're going to see near mirror compositions. All right.
Roadhogs on both sides. Orisas, of course, to follow the traditional Halt Hook pulled pork bunker going on. We got Rigo and Snowshow both showing up on the Pharahs, and Azalea, Morningstar both on the Mercy, and the only real deviating thing between the two teams is Nevitz and Riley in a band. Riley in a band on Moira, Nevitz on Ana. So it looks like we're going to have a bit of a battle of pharmacies here.
Yeah, I think the advantage here of Riley on the Moira is that he's going to be able to build up ult quicker and also has more of healing output for the entirety of the bunker. But I mean, if Nevitz hit a fat anti, that's going to spell the end of it here for Kraken Skulls.
So looking to kick things off, you will see Anomaly get hooked massively out of position as well as Blue, but Blue is going to get taken down. Anomaly going to survive for a little bit longer, but now on a 1-for-1 trade, 5v5 on the point. Morningstar looking to see if she can get the res onto that Roadhog, but there's just a little bit too much danger there. But Shellshock using that right click, to get Rigo out of the skies. So now we're going to definitely have an upper hand in favor of Kraken Skulls as their respawns come back online. Looks like Dumpster Divers on point, keeping together behind that shield, trying to mitigate as much damage as possible as we see Anomaly make an immediate switch onto that McCree.
Yeah, that's not a bad swap here. I mean, we'll have to see if it's going to be able to lend itself to the advantage here in this Pharah battle that we have going on. But so far, both these teams just seem content to posture, but that's a big pick here for Kraken Skulls.
Yeah, off at the back of that Coalescence coming in from Riley and a band. Oh, big barrage as well from Snowshow. He's going to be able to take Morningstar out of the fight, and using that res, losing that Mercy could be crucial, but they won't lose the point. They're going to be able to fight for the point here as Anomaly gets a kill onto Meh, I should say.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the spelling is there, but or the phrasing is there, but I'm sure we'll figure it out here. I mean, both teams here really haven't been able to break open each other's bunkers, and the fact that Dumpster Divers kind of let that first tick go the way of Kraken is really going to give them the advantage here and force them to make a play.
Yeah, and Rigo's been gone practically uncontested here in the sky as he tries to focus down the Orisa in the backline. Has that barrage online, creeping around the corner. Does not have the ability to use it, though. He's being pressured by Snowshoe there off onto the side of the point. Snowshoe now looking for a bit more of an opening as he tries to build that ult back up. But ult economy being talked about, we have 5 ultimates on board for Kraken Skulls.
Yeah, that's a lot of ultimates here, and they do have a very demanding hold on this point. So if they cycle their ults here, keep their ult economy going, they're going to have no issues holding this point and taking point number 1 here.
Yeah, it looks like Dumpster Divers is having a bit of an issue finding a way to really get into the point. They're going to go ahead and go off to the right, try a new approach as the ticker keeps going. The hook is missed, the wall is there as the supercharger comes out from Proflama, trying to get something going onto the team, trying to make it so that Dumpster Divers can't even get an inch onto the point here. Coalescence once again coming out from Riley and a band, as well as the freeze from May, but May gets taken out and put into the ice block as he takes Anomaly out of the fight, and the kills once again rolling through, and I think we're going to see a little bit of a stall here onto Shell Shock. Yeah, Roadhog going to be going back to the spawn just a little bit late there, but at 89%, this could be it.
Yeah, I feel like Snowshoe hasn't just had quite enough effect on that Pharah. Of course, as I say that, he does find the kill onto Rigo, but I think it's just too little too late, and he needed to have a bit more of an effect earlier on in these fights.
Onion going off to the side of the point, able to find Morning Star. Could be an opening that Dumpster Divers are opening for as long as they're able to keep themselves up and alive. Big hook comes in onto Proflama, getting him out of the fight completely as the barrage comes in as well. Riley going to be taken out by that one as Rego does get a little bit of a revenge kill. Doesn't really matter much, though, as Azalea is right there to bring Snowshoe right back into the fight.
Yeah, I mean, both teams there used a lot of ultimates into those fights. Of course, Dumpster Divers coming out on top. I think, though, that the reason we've seen Kraken have a lot more success so far is they've just had better halt hook combos, better shield cooldown management, and I think Rego has been putting a lot more pressure on the other side comparative to Snowshoe.
Oh no, Shell Shock getting caught out there using the whole hog, gets flashed, or no, he gets hooked, I'm sorry, by Blue Boxers, stunned out of that ultimate, and that might be crucial, as it was the only ultimate that they had on board, except for the supercharger with Sid Vicious. Sid Vicious is going to go ahead and use that supercharger within this fight, trying to make sure that shield management is something that Kraken cannot do well. They're going to try and dish out that damage, but man, going to take out that supercharger, and yet another Coalescence from Riley and a band comes onto the point with a very forward blizzard coming out from Meh. That's going to stop the Mercy, that's going to stop the fire, and that's going to stop the push. 99% and overtime is over.
That was a great blizzard there from Meh, catching out the other team. But I think that the real kind of hidden MVP there, and you wouldn't really know it because he was in the kill feed, but not that much, was Rego on that Pharah. He was putting a lot of pressure on the other team's bunker. He was frequently, in the backlines, taking hard flank angles, even without the pocket of Morningstar. And even just that amount of pressure that he was putting on the backline was absolutely huge because it forced members of Dumpster Divers to turn and take care of him. And in that time, that, allowed Profilama, Blue Boxers, and the Meh and the rest of Kraken Skulls to really get in there, hit the halt hook combos, hit the combos that they needed to win those fights.
Well, looks like they're going to be keeping Rego on that Pharah for this next point. Snowshoe, however, going to be going off to the McCree, hopefully in, going to be able to do something about that airborne Rocket Queen. And we're also going to have Anomaly on the Symmetra that we have seen be so powerful lately in this meta. We'll see how this fares for Dumpster Divers as Kraken begins to initiate here onto the point.
Yeah, I mean, really strong comp here coming out for Dumpster Divers, but Blue Boxers hits a really nice hook, and that's a good way to open things up, even though Snowshoe equalizes.
Yeah, they make the 1-for-1 trade, but Blue Boxer still showing up in the kill feed pretty heavily. Takes Anomaly out as well, and Morningstar will bring Riley back in. So that puts Kraken back on top as far as bodies go, but Snowshoe looks to remedy that pretty quickly, grabbing 2 before he gets taken out by Blue Boxers there towards the end of the fight. Control percentage, however, will still be building up for Dumpster Divers here, as Kraken Skulls is going to have to take another crack at this attack.
Yeah, Dumpster Divers there made the right play. They went right for the point. They didn't try to take the fight out in the courtyard, which is what Kraken Skulls were looking for. and that let them take the point, and now they're able to build up that percentage with relative ease.
Oh, there goes the Gravatic Flex coming out, able to take Blue Boxers out of the fight, and that is a huge amount of value right there, taking out that arsenal of a Roadhog. Looks like Morningstar will be going for the res here as they continue to push this fight, but Nevitz gets a big boop there off to Prof Llama off to the side. Able to take him out, and Riley looking to even the scales, but it's a bit of a futile attempt as they leave Rego on his own here on the point.
Oh, but he is going to get a kill out of that. He's going to get 2, actually. Those are absolutely critical, and I think that Kraken Skulls may be able to get back into this fight here, especially with Blue Boxer's Whole Hog.
Yeah, it's a pretty big ult coming into this point. It's a small point and a lot of environmental possibilities coming into it. He's able to take 2 with that ultimate, so you're seeing a little bit of a stall here from Nevitz as he's the Lucio alone on the point. A little bit of a, Azalea is there on the Moira to help out, but it's really just a stall technique. 84% up. They want to get it as high as possible before it gets taken over to maximize their efforts when it comes back to retake the point. Snowshoe getting a late kill onto Rego and getting out that coalescence from Riley and a band.
Yeah, forcing out that coalescence is going to be massive here, but I think the ult economy here just slightly in the favor of Kraken Skulls. If they use this properly, they should be able to hang on to this point, but they are in one fight territory. If they lose a fight here, I think they might be done for, and this second point is going to go the way of Dumpster Divers.
There comes the initiation as they come in. You see Rego there off to the side on the far. Has the barrage at the ready, doesn't want to commit to the fight, wants to make sure that she's on a different sight line, different attack angle as they come into this fight, so that barrage is still a viable ultimate. Hopping over the building, looking for it, not able to pull it off. It looks like Dumpster Divers knows that Rego is there and is not willing to give up the space and allow that Pharah to get what he wants. There goes the Gravatic Flex from Shellshock, looking to find a couple of kills, but the damage is just not there as he gets frozen by Med there. Rego will get taken out, so the barrage no longer on the table, so you'll see the supercharger come out. Looks like the freeze as well. The freeze is not going to be able to grab many people in this situation right now as coalescence are coming out from both sides of the field. Looks like Snowshoe and Nevitz and the rest of Dumpster Divers are going to clean this up. It may have taken almost every single ult to do it, but they will take the point back, and I don't know if there's enough time for Kraken Skulls.
Yeah, I think, you know what, they used every single ult there, and like I said, they were in one fight territory. Nobody's even going to be able to touch. But I think a big thing in that last fight there, I think Meh actually got stunned out of the blizzard. I don't know if it just didn't show up on my screen as a graphic, but I heard the sound cue come out and get interrupted, and that's a big ult cancellation right there, especially on that small of a point. That blizzard would freeze everybody and really would have allowed them to clean up here.
I believe we have Snowshow to thank for that stun. Nice flashbang from the McCree there from Dumpster Divers.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been, it must have been Snowshow. I don't know who else has a stun on their team. Not a bad idea here from them, sticking to this comp, swapping out the Pharah for the Pharmacy combination. I like that here. There's a lot of cover here for the Pharah to skirt around in the skies, rain in a lot of damage. But we're going to see a radically different comp here from Kraken Skulls, and I'm going to be interested to see how well this Rein Zarya is going to work into a Sigma Orisa here.
I'm not too surprised by the composition. We're seeing Double Sniper quite effective here on Ruins, as Ruins is the one map on Ilios that has a lot of really long sightline.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of sightlines here. The only thing is that this double shield is going to make it very hard for these snipers to find value unless they're taking hard flanks. And I mean, they're going to be forced to back up here and cede this first pick here to first point cap to Dumpster Divers.
And that's huge at the beginning of a fight. Ult charge now in favor of Dumpster Divers. Position control point control in favor of them, and right now looks like Prof Llama having a very difficult time getting an initiation onto the point here, as his shield has been close to breaking multiple times, and right after the amplification is used, Shellshock is going to be getting a big kill onto Morningstar here. Looks like Prof and Blue Boxers are trying to even up the scales as they begin into this fight, but there's a lot of weight on the shoulders of Rego right now on this May.
Yeah, and I don't know how much they're going to be able to get done. It's really hard for them to close this distance, especially without a Lucio on the side of Kraken Skulls. There's no way they're going to be able to speed themselves in there, especially with Nevitz over on that Lucio. All he has to do is speed amp them out, and all of a sudden Professor Llama and Blue Boxers, their tank line can't do anything, and it's going to make it difficult for the rest of the team to perform.
Big high noon from Snowshoe coming in as a distraction for the barrage from Anomaly. Able to find himself 1 kill onto Riley and a ban before Blue Boxers on the Zarya takes him out of the equation. And in a 5v5, make that a 4v4, make that a 4v3 here on the point. This might be where the tables get turned. But Shellshock says, I've got another story for you. And that story is, go back to spawn.
Yeah, they just haven't been able to deal with this Sigma, and I think that's an issue that a lot of teams are going to have in this upcoming meta, is Sigma is really strong, especially with that Orisa. It's hard to counter, and I don't think anybody's figured out exactly how to counter it yet, but a shatter like that might just do it there, Steidel.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you float, if you're... No! The shatter may have been big, but the Gravic Flux was even bigger. Anomaly and Snowshoe very easily able to clean things up here as every single member of Kraken Skulls is at less than half health.
That was a really big play there coming in from Shellshock, hitting that Gravic Flux. I mean, it's a really good ultimate. It's really hard to escape. It has a really wide area. And I mean, once you get caught in it, it's really hard for your team to recover from it.
Not to mention that it's probably one of the most effective... Oh, they're rushing the point? Let me take care of that.
Yeah, and I think the fact... I didn't see if Shellshock got caught in that shatter, but even if he did, I don't think they... He did? They just didn't have the follow-up on that shatter, and we saw that because really nothing lit up in the kill feed when they got that big shatter from Professor Llama. So I just think that shatter was a little bit rushed and a little bit of an opportunistic, you know, the Reinhardt sees the shatter, you go for it, and then you realize that the rest of your team is still, like, you know, miles behind you and not able to follow up on it. So really unfortunate that big shatter there didn't work out, and that in the end, it just opened up a really big play for Shellshock with that Gravic Flux.
So it looks like Dumpster Divers and Kraken Skulls, I feel like it's a little bit too early to make any predictions in my book, because Kraken Skulls in the first point of Ilios, they looked absolutely solid. Dumpster Divers, however, definitely playing the upper hand there on those last two maps.
I think their Sigma Orisa was really strong, and I think going forward, we're going to have to see Kraken Skulls either match that with a mirror or find their own way of countering it, because I just don't think that Rein Zarya is the answer to a Sigma Orisa composition at this time. And honestly, I'm not sure what the answer is in general. I don't know. He's a new hero. He's, in my opinion, a little broken, but we'll have to see what these teams are going to do to try to work around the strong comps from the other team.
We are going to have an opportunity to do that in just a moment, as we will be moving on to Hanamura for our next map. So sit tight and make sure that you're here for Hanamura and the sweet Symmetra strategies that I know are coming. We will be right back.
Prepare to attack. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From above.
Get 'em up, make you feel better. Audio, better.
I am from above.
Get 'em up, make you feel better. Audio, better.
From above.
Get 'em up, make you feel better. Audio, better.
Patching you up. I am from above.
Get 'em up, make you feel better. Audio, 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 audio. Audio, better. Audio, better.
From above.
Get 'em up, make you feel better. Audio, better. and you feel better. Audio, 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 audio.
So you guys just saw Dumpster Divers and Kraken Skulls face off on Ilios, and we're going to be transporting ourselves over to Hanamura here in just a second. We will have Kraken Skulls and Dumpster Divers go at it again. It's currently a 1-0 in Piper. We got to see some very interesting Hanamura play, out of the 2-2-2 meta or roll lock that we now play within, where Symmetra was fairly prevalent here on Hanamura. The teleport to the point, to the right, the beautiful work from Burn with using a teleporter as a retreat. Do you expect to see the Sem coming into Hanamura here with Kraken Skulls and Dumpster Divers?
I wouldn't be surprised to see it on the side of Dumpster Divers. We saw them even pulling out the sim here on Ilios, which I don't think either of the teams did yesterday. So if they're willing to pull out the Symmetra already on Ilios, I would not be shocked at all to see it here on Hanamura. I mean, we've even seen it be versatile on the attack and the defense. Like you said, we saw Burn really using it as a great defensive tool where they could play up at the choke and bait out all those cooldowns from MSXL, and the minute MSXL started to put pressure on them to get through that choke, they just teleported right back. And for them, they got all their cooldowns back and they were pretty much back in the poke phase of the fight. Whereas MSXL, they still have to use cooldowns because they have to close all this space while getting poked at. So it put them in a really difficult position, and it provided a really strong defensive tool for Burn. And even on the attack, we saw some very clever Symmetra teleports using Maywalls and the likes of that. So I definitely think that Symmetra is going to be played a lot, especially in the current state of the meta. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it here, especially because Dumpster Divers have already shown us it.
Well, I am excited to see it. My DPS rankings did not go great today when I did my placement, so I need as much tips and examples from teams when it comes to that beautiful, beautiful DPS play that all of us know, love, and want in our competitive games. So I'm interested to see what kind of strategies we get. I've been missing my Doomfists. A lot of Doomfists on ladder, but I haven't gotten to see a lot of Doomfists here in the Owlet tournament. I'd like to see a little bit more of that. I think he's a wonderful hero.
I really think that Doomfist is a good hero as well, and I think that he also has the potential to help be a bunker buster hero along with Symmetra to try to break out of this Orisa Sigma combination that we have going on. The only thing is that you have to be a really good Doomfist in any team environment, because you should expect these teams to be a lot better at focus firing, and that makes it a lot harder for a Doomfist, and it's going to require from that Doomfist player much better cooldown management, which can be difficult, for any level of player.
And so now, as we go into Hanamura, we are going to be able to see if the Doomfist or the Symmetras or maybe Sombra, who knows if we'll see a Tracer, grace our presence here on the hallowed halls of Hanamura, home of the beautiful Dragons animated short.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. You touched briefly there on how this is, the home of the Dragon cinematic, and that contains Hanzo. I don't think we saw much Hanzo there on Ilios, which is interesting to me because he's actually not a bad hero here to try to get some, shield break and also some picks. He's pretty good at being able to self-sustain himself in the sense that he can go for flank angles, try to get some picks from range, and then use his jump ability to get back to safety with his team and get the heals that he needs, and then also contribute to shield break with things like his storm arrows. Plus, his sonic arrow scouting is always going to be useful for any teams. But it looks like we're actually going to see some Ryan Zarya defense here coming out from Kraken Skulls, and we're going to see that Sigma Orisa again here from Dumpster Divers. So it's it's really going to be, can Kraken Skulls figure out a way to make this tank combination work here? Rigo over onto the Junkrat, that's going to help. Agathon on the Mei, also going to help, but they're going to require a lot of coordination to make this happen.
They are. We do have substitutions on both sides of the field, so we'll see how those affect each team's play. Rigo going to go ahead and take it out by the substitute, Dead inside, who's coming in to make an impact here in this fight. Sid Vicious as well, Shell Shock finding himself into the kill feed as the teammates of Kraken Skulls get taken down one by one. This could be a massive issue as they are now extremely low on bodies. Anomaly, Nevitz, and Shell Shock all making sure that there are no bodies on the point there, but that was a mighty quick take on the back of that Symmetra teleport.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Kraken Skulls were really ready for that teleport strat. I think they got surprised by it, and because of that, they were all split up. They weren't organized on the point, which made it really easy for the well-organized side of Dumpster Divers to make that play happen. I mean, Nevitz threw down his Immortality field, and I don't think anybody was shooting at it. It actually just disappeared from sitting out for so long. So I think that Kraken Skulls needs to be prepared for that sort of thing and not get surprised when they see those things come out, especially with Symmetra being so prevalent right now.
Let's see what they're able to do here coming into the next point. They're going to be going for the high ground here, but if you look at Kraken Skulls right now, they are extremely spread out. The Ryan and the Zarya on the high ground alone. You have the healer and a DPS up on the high ground. And it looks like we have DJ Gigabit just kind of off on his own there on the stairs. Might be an issue as both Junkrat and Ash get taken out of the fight. That's both of your DPS and a beautiful teleport to the top of the shrine here on Hanamura Point B as they come in to attack this point. They have 5 minutes to do so. Hammer comes out specifically to get Anomaly, able to find that kill, but gets slept while charging after Shell Shock. So Shell Shock going to try and finish off that Reinhardt Kua there over on the side. He will be able to get that kill as they're looking now for Blue Boxers to be the next one to find his tombstone. Agathon going to be able to find Sid Vicious as the Amplification Matrix does give a lot of support right now to Kraken Skulls here, and a late Dragon gets thrown in what I would call haphazardly there onto the point. Not going to find anybody nor split anybody up, and there was nobody there for presence on the point.
That was an interesting fight. I mean, the problem was when they went for that teleport up on top of the shrine there, half their team was still on the bottom, and Kua had some great vision there to go for the shatter, allowed them to clean up the people that were underneath the shrine, and then that really turned it from a 4v6 into a 4v3 for Kraken Skulls, which they then were able to use to their advantage, because it was a lot easier for them to win 2 4v3s than it is to win 1 4v6.
It looks like Kraken Skulls learned a little bit from their last engagement, allowing themselves to be a little bit more grouped up, but yet still they're, in these pairs of 1s and 2s across to the point as the attack begins to encroach on the point. Amplification Matrix coming out from Nevitz along with a great shield from Anomaly. They're going to back it on with with the tire coming in from Rego, but that's not going to find much at all. Bob onto the point is the 7th man here in this fight. Anomaly getting taken out by Agathon's support Butler there. And we're going to see yet another debuffed attack coming in from Dumpster Divers. Kraken Skulls beginning to find a little bit of a rhythm here on the defense.
That was an interesting fight for me because, to me, the advantage here really should lie with Dumpster Divers. They have the better tank line, and they're able to put more pressure on the tank combo of Kua and Blue Boxers with that Rein Zarya. But the problem is that nobody was putting pressure. They weren't putting enough pressure on their DPS as well. And even though Kua and Blue Boxers weren't able to create any space for their DPS, because their DPS were just sitting up there on a high ground, they had space just based on the virtue of their positioning, and nobody challenged them on it except Dead Inside. And when he got picked off by some nice shots from Agathon, it was pretty much fight over.
Yeah, right now Dead Inside, not only is he looking for a beautiful pick, oh, finds it! Beautiful sight lines from way outside the point to find himself with an easy kill onto the supports as Rego not only puts himself into the kill feed, but possibly into argument for an MVP. Beautiful shot by Dead Inside as he approaches that Ana there. That Ash there. We'll have a nano boosted Reinhardt on the point with an Earth Shatter to boot, and he's able to find himself a couple of victims chasing the low ground after Dead Inside will be able to find it as Kua going to go ahead and punish a little bit of an overstay there by both Anomaly and Dead Inside on the point.
Yeah, Rigo finding those 3 kills there is absolutely insane, and that's what allows his team to be able to come back out there, use a couple ultimates to clean up this fight. Just big work coming in from him on the Junkrat. You know what? I'm liking this Junkrat pick. He's making it work. He's positioning himself well, and he's not really getting contested that much by members of Dumpster Divers, and he's just finding the space he needs to operate.
And one of the fall throughs for that bunker composition is the fact that it requires the team to stay together.
Oh, most definitely. And it's hard when you lose some key components of the bunker to a Junkrat that's going absolutely insane.
Now, right here you see Kua. He's going down to the point, preemptively leaving the rest of his team up on the high ground. And this wouldn't be the first time that he's gotten himself into a tricky situation. As a result of that, the Dragons do come through, but a charge coming in from Kua going to take Sid Vicious out of the fight and into the kill feed. Rego will find yet another victim there with that tire. But Anomaly, oof, falling to those Junkrat, those death mines there.
The martyrdom coming in there.
Yeah, he had himself a couple of good kills, but not able to really secure what he needed to allow his team to come in. Losing Sid Vicious at the beginning of that fight was just a complete block to what they wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, that was, good fight there coming in. Kua, a little bit of a risky play, dropping to point there preemptively. And, I mean, that charge, knocking Sid Vicious onto the bottom there. Not the best spot to be, but his team's able to come in and save him there. Rigo finding a couple big kills, especially with that martyrdom Junkrat mines.
There come a big ultimate combination there. Blue Box is going to go ahead and pair up that Graviton with the Amplification Matrix from Frode, and that's just going to be all she wrote. Not able to contest. 7 seconds left, and we're not going to see much else here, but 47.8% was taken by Dumpster Divers, so it's not a lost cause just yet. If their defense can hold, they can put this to a 2-0.
Yeah, good hold there coming in. They were able to stabilize. They started to make that composition work for them. It was very interesting. I think that what they did there, because the Rein Zarya into the bunker aren't really able to create a lot of space in the sense of Ryan's shield's going to go down super quickly in the face of the poke from the Sigma Orisa, that it's hard for DPS players to stand behind the Ryan's shield because eventually he's going to have to drop it, and then that's where you would get picked, right? But because they were playing off angles, off positioning on that second point where there's plenty of space to do so, they were able to get a lot of value, especially from that Junkrat pick that we saw from Rigo. So big props to them for on that second point using the map geometry to their advantage. And if we see this go, I don't know if we're going to see this go into extras here just because of I don't think we can because of the time bank that we have here and the percentage. But yeah, I think that on the flip side, going forward, using map geometry is going to be a big way of teams getting around this kind of Orisa Sigma that we've seen.
I will say though, if these teams do manage to draw here on this map, I will give it a loot box to one person on each team, because in order to get 47.8% and not a little bit more would be a madly impressive feat. Another impressive feat, a full hold, and that's I think what they're going to go for here, as they're setting up for not just a bunker composition, but a Bastion bunker with the Baptiste.
I think this is pretty easily counterable, that positioning. Bastion has become a fairly counterable hero. It's just, you get in your head about it, and with the Sim Teleport, I mean, you go right to point anyways, so who cares?
That might be a bit of an issue. DJ Gigabit not able to get to the point in time, but looks like Frode and Agathon are going to go ahead and just carry the team through right now, taking out Shellshock, Mech, and Diva alike. But Rego, once again, proving why Junkrat is the superior DPS right now, getting himself 2 kills as he allows for the rest of his team to roll on through, and a similarly fast take coming out from Kraken Skulls there. So it's going to be up to Dumpster Divers here to have an impressive defense like we saw from Kraken last round.
Yeah, 6 minutes is a long time to hold.
And they're already over there.
Yeah, that's a big teleport from them. They're not even set up on the point yet. That's going to be absolutely huge because now they're not going to hear as much movement. But I think Shellshock may have scouted it out here.
Well, let's see if that's going to be able to get anything done. Huge Maywa coming in to get Kua off on his own. Looks like that Reinhardt's in a little bit of trouble. Going to be able to going to be falling there as the rest of the team looks to just kind of fight for some poke and posture, get their ultimates on board, wait for their Reinhardt to come back in, but Sid Vicious waits for no man as he takes both Blue and Agathon out of the fight here. They're going to go ahead and teleport back onto their spawn room.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a mistake there. You can't play in a choke like that when you have a Mei, because as we saw, they got walled off not once but twice there. So they're going to need to find a different way to get into these fights here. Agathon here does have the sim wall, so that'll be pretty useful. Lots of ultimates here coming online for Kraken Skulls. So it's really going to be up to Dumpster Divers to be able to mitigate these ultimates as they come in.
Ult economy can be such a fragile thing in Overwatch, and managing that ult economy can be the difference between winning or losing the match. So we'll see what they're able to do with these ultimates as they come online. They do have the Shatter as they take the high ground. Kua getting mighty low on that shield health as he moves to the stairwell behind the point. Great positioning right now from Dumpster Divers as they take the back of the point. They're not in shatterable area, one should say. There goes the Diva Bomb coming out from Shellshock, able to find Rego, and that could be big, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, they
because nobody's
C9!
on the point. Nobody's on the point, Piper.
Oh my, that is a big mistake. You gotta touch the point if you want to contest it.
Overwatch 101.
Oh
Point
my.
payload. Gotta pay attention to him.
Yeah, I think there was some really bad positioning there that came out from Dumpster Divers, opting to set up their composition on the back right of the point. That's dangerous, especially when it's only 1.5 ticks to begin with. But they let Kraken take so much space. They let them take that top area, and of course, there had no chance to wall anybody off. So
I was
huge
thinking
advantage
that
there.
they were gonna be dropping to the point, as we saw.
Yeah, I was
kind of move in there.
a little intrigued that they chose to go down the stairs because that would have been a wallable opportunity. But I mean, hey, it worked, and if it's stupid and it works, it isn't stupid. So kudos there for Kraken for finding a way to win this second map and take the series to 1-1.
All right, so going into our little mini itty bitty halftime break, we're gonna have these teams at a 1-1 map score. Our next map up in the running is gonna be King's Row, and ladies and gentlemen, if you keep your fingers crossed, if you are lucky enough, these teams might take us to Lijiang Tower, our tiebreaker map. We might get 5 maps of Overwatch if we are lucky.
Yeah, I haven't seen 5 maps yet this preseason, so I'd love to see that. But first, we do have to take our halftime break, and we will be right back.
Prepare to attack. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Run above. Get 'em, make you feel better.
Prepare to attack. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From above.
Get 'em up, make you feel better. Audio, ready.
I am from above.
Get 'em up, make you feel better. Audio, ready.
From above.
Get 'em up, make you feel better. Audio, ready.
Catching you up. I am from above.
Get 'em up, make you feel better. Audio, 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 ready. Audio, ready.
From above.
Get 'em up, make you feel better. Audio, ready.
I am from above.
Get 'em up, make you feel better. Audio, ready.
All right, so enough of my long-winded welcome back intros. We're going to King's Row, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm just going to go ahead and let Piper talk about it because this is his favorite map. So Piper, what do you got? What do you got for everybody? We've seen both of these teams come out with, honestly, a wide array of compositions in the past two maps. So from what you've seen, what are you expecting here on King's Row?
I'm pretty excited. I think we're gonna get to see my favorite matchup on this map, Orion Zarya tank line. I love that on this map. It seems to me that both teams, especially on the latter part of Hanamura, were okay with making that kind of the standoff. We're both gonna pick this as opposed to diverting into just straight bunkers. We're both okay with these picks. So I really hope that they're going to take that into King's Row, and we're going to get to see some good Reinhardt Zarya matchups here, because King's Row is just the perfect map for Reinhardt battles. I feel like I love watching it on this map. I also wouldn't be surprised if we saw some more Symmetra and tried to see some clever teleport strats there on the first point. And honestly, I'd like to see some sniper gameplay here. There's lots of open sight lines here on the first point. A Widowmaker, Hanzo, anything like that can be really useful. Even into second point, you can get a lot of value from snipers. So I'd love to see some sniper compositions going on here. So I think we've got a lot of possibilities here, because both these teams have shown us so many different compositions and DPS picks and styles that they've had. So I'm really, really excited to see what they're going to bring to the table here. And I just want to get right back into this map.
Yeah, I do love myself some King's Row as well as the Reinhardt Zarya combination. We were talking about it earlier about how much it actually requires for a team to take down a Zarya within this meta, whether it be that being run with a Sigma or an Orisa or a Reinhardt, really. Any shield tank, even in some situations you can use it with the Hammond, but that Zarya, the risk reward for bubble management, if you can have decent bubble management, then it can be very difficult to take out that Zarya without an immense amount of communication, cooldown tracking, and focus fire.
Yeah, Zarya is a really dangerous hero. Her bubbles are like the most dangerous thing about them is that if you go to try to kill a Zarya, and you've got to imagine, the Zarya is right in front of you, beaming you down the whole time, already at pretty high energy, and you're doing your best and you're calling for the focus on this Zarya, and then all of a sudden they pop a bubble and they get 40 more charge. All of a sudden their beam is that much stronger and you're in a lot more trouble. So taking down Zarya's takes so much effort from teams, tracking her bubbles, making sure that when they go in on a Zarya that they're going to be able to secure that kill. And you really have to finish that kill because Zarya has the shields. If you don't do more than that 200 damage and keep up the damage on the Zarya. If the Zarya gets to enough cover, they're going to be able to regenerate those shields, and then that's almost 200 more additional health that no healer even had to look at them for. So absolutely, Zarya is a really dangerous hero that requires a lot of effort from teams to focus down.
So let's see what these teams are going to be able to bring to the table. I definitely do think that we are going to be. I agree with you. I think we're going to see those Reinhardts come through. We do have some substitutions here. Kraken Skulls are bringing in Agathon and Morningstar once again. And it looks like we have Illy and Snowshow coming back into the fight for Dumpster Divers.
Yeah, Snowshow showed us he was a very competent McCree player. He made some big plays there on Ilios. He sat out the second map here in this series, but he's going to be back for the third map here, Kings Row, and hopefully he's going to be able to give his side a series lead here as we're currently sitting at a 1-1 tie.
Yeah, I think that what we're seeing here is we're seeing that Snowshow just might be a little bit of a hit scan specialist. We didn't see a lot of hit scan being played on Hanamura. He Snowshoe was not in the fight, so they've been brought back in here on Kings Row, where the Pharahs, the Doomfists, those slippery heroes, where a hit scan is very, very favorable.
Yeah, I mean, I also wouldn't be surprised if we got to see some Widowmaker. Obviously, that's something pretty much every single hit scan specialist should be able to play. And it looks like we might get lucky here and get to see some Widowmaker. And it looks like he's going to go uncontested here from Kraken Skulls. That's going to be really risky for them, not being able to counter a Widow threat, especially here on this first point. Although I'm interested to see how the Sigma Reinhardt combination plays out. It's not something that I've seen a lot of, but I feel like it could maybe work really well, because I feel like if you throw the Sigma shield just in front of the Reinhardt, and as I say that, Caster's Curse, try to give some in-depth analysis, they're just gonna swap over to a Zarya. So
they want to make it easy on you.
No, of course not. So Shido, I'm just gonna let you take it away because I'm a little sad now.
Well, let's see what they're able to do here. I'm going to keep my eye here on Snowshoe as he grabs himself in an advantageous positioning here above the theater, looking to find a little bit of an opening between these shields. However, not being too successful at the current moment. He's taking a spot up there with Dead Inside. There's that high charge Zarya that we were talking about already, so high up on that charge. That's sitting at 78% charge for Shell Shock, and it looks like Blue as well at 58% charge. But Snowshoe is the one coming into the kill feed, and the issue here is that spawn advantage is heavily in favor of the dumpster divers coming into this point. So they already have Sid Vicious back on. They have the Lucio to speed boost their people back into the point. Agathon with one kill there onto Shell Shock, but it just might not be enough. As long as Sid Vicious can stay alive and aggressive here on the point, he'll be able to keep the rest of Kraken Skulls at bay. Being very selective about when he puts down his shield, but he put it down just a little bit too early. Those dragons, oh man, they're gonna come in and wreak absolute havoc on the point. Master with the shatter coming in from Kua. It is fatter than he could have wished, as they're gonna be able to push back Kraken Skulls there. Dumpster Divers able to secure here, Kraken Skulls able to secure here on the point.
Yeah, good hold coming in from them there, being able to hold on. They made the right play there. You saw them back off the point, let them get almost 2 ticks, but then come back with their full force, allowing them to win that fight.
So they are back into this fight quite quickly. There goes the Mayo wall to goes the Morningstar, taking advantage of that with the kill on to Sid Vicious there. Nano boosted Reinhardt getting right up in their face. That's not what you want to see in a high charge Zarya to boot, as Illy gets taken out of the fight, and Kraken Skulls are merely just waiting for Dumpster Divers to come to the point and then dismantling their attack hero by hero.
Riley in a band is going absolutely huge here. Every single time that I've seen Sid Vicious push in, the minute that shield gets dropped, the anti-nade comes in, and once you're antied, you're pretty much done for as a Reinhardt. But that's going to be a big shatter into the backline here, but good immortality field to stabilize.
See if they're able to get the follow-up damage. We've seen that be an issue already, as the Blizzard does come out from Discern. It's going to be another restabilizing movement from Kraken Skulls. Dumpster Divers not able to capitalize on that ultimate, on that shatter, even though he was able to grab 3 members.
You know something, Steidel? I could feel the pain of dumpster divers there, especially Shellshock and Illy. I just watched them get, like, chain CC'd. I felt their pain right there. First the Blizzard, and then the Shatter from Kua. That's just painful to have happen to you.
There goes another big anti-nade coming in onto Discern this time, and Kua still able to find these kills as Snowshow hopes to do something on this Pharah, but Agathon with the switch onto the Widowmaker, that's going to be mighty difficult, but it is Discern getting that kill with that Icicle, and right now you have 45 seconds left. You don't really have time to switch if you're dumpster divers.
Nope, Grav Dragon. That's the play right now. That's your win condition. Get the Grav Dragon in there. If you need to, Nevitz is going to throw that nano onto Sid Vicious so that he can build up a Shatter here, but you need to win this fight. And hopefully Kraken Skulls are going to play into it because they're really grouped up right now.
There's the Graviton comes out. The lamp, however, is there. And beautiful job by Dead Inside taking the lamp out before Dragons get there. So they are able to find themselves a couple of kills and a nano boost just to make sure that they can get this down. Looks like Snowshoe as well. Going to go ahead and throw in a barrage. A little bit late there on that barrage.
Yeah, I don't like that barrage getting thrown in by Snowshow. He's got to be going for a swap here. That's the only...
He is. He's going back to spawn right now.
I was a little concerned there for a second. But, big anti there on Kua, but he gets bubbled. He's going to be okay. Oh, this is an overextension here from Dumpster Divers. Kua is going to be able to go absolutely crazy here onto these 4 members that are pushed up.
Oh, there's 1, there's 2, and that's what happens when you are unprepared for a man with a big hammer running through. And this is a hold that we do not see often, but when you see it done right, it can be absolutely detrimental to the time bank of Kraken Skulls. Dumpster Divers pushing up all the way to the archway here on King's Row.
Yeah, I mean, Kua there built up a lot of Shatter, but here's where the Reinhardt mind games come in here. Both of them with their shields up around that payload, looking for the fat Shatter to win their team these fights.
Cold Shatter is going to be falling on deaf ears here. Beautiful bubble coming in from Blue Boxers to completely annul the Shatter from Vicious, but it will be the team of Kraken Skulls that will be putting Dumpster Divers back to spawn here.
Yeah, good reactions there by Discern to throw out that Blizzard. I mean, Sid Vicious there obviously looking to go aggressive, especially after the counter Shatter was blocked. I would personally be thinking, let's go for it. And Discern makes the smart play there, catches them in that Blizzard, and wins them the fight. The win condition here now is going to be Blue Boxer's Grav.
So it looks like they're going to go ahead and take a different approach. They know that the archway is a difficult spot for them to gain any headway here. Dead Inside does have that dragon, which he's going to put just a little bit to the right of where they're initiating, but an Immortality Field will prove helpful as Agathon grabs a Deadeye kill and 1 regular. There's the Graviton from Blue Box. There's 44 seconds left, and this is getting a bit heated here. If you're dumpster divers, you're starting to sweat as that payload has barely made it out of its original door.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now the plays you gotta get Shellshock up to that Grav. He hasn't been able to get it very fast here, and Nevitz here gonna probably have to use that nano onto Sid Vicious once the Grav gets thrown out. Build up, another Shatter. Keep the ult economy rolling here if they want to win this, but this is not looking good.
Yeah, big anti-nade coming in from Riley and a band onto Dumpster Divers for them to fall back a little bit. Deadeye comes out, but he's looking at a wall of ice there. He does get the nano boost. I'm talking about Snowshoe, of course, as he comes into that Graviton, able to find himself a kill, and this will force Kraken Skulls to back off just a little bit, but just enough for Blue Boxers to reposture and come back in for the hold. That high charge Zarya, an absolute weapon here. Dead Inside on that Tracer doing a little bit of work there in the backline, able to take out both Blue Boxers and Riley and a band.
Yeah, big work there coming out from Dead Inside. And I think another thing, I mentioned it earlier on the first point, but man, oh man, are these anti-nades from both Anas being absolutely critical to fight wins there. Nevitz hitting a big anti, and that's what really let them clean up those last few heroes. If they don't hit that anti, I think their push stops.
Dead Inside just kind of feeding himself right now, trying to get that pulse bomb up and running as they wait for the final contest here at the point. Looks like Kraken Skulls is going to go for one final move here, but Agathon going to get slept during the Deadeye. and that's huge, taking that ultimate completely off of the table, as well as the McCree. There's a big shatter that comes in from Sid Vicious as he finds himself in a position to grab 3. The Blizzard not able to find enough, but the high charge Zarya looking to pick up the slack right now as Blue Boxers takes out Sid Vicious and does some massive work into desuiting Shellshock on the D.Va. Not able to find himself any real success, however, as Dead Inside continues to be a terror for the side of Dumpster Divers.
Yeah, that's kind of Agathon's responsibility to take care of Dead Inside. They've been so effective these past couple pushes, and you know, he gets slept and taken out there very early, so that just lets Dead Inside do whatever they want.
Now we come into a bit of a posturing situation as the payload moves. We do have a Graviton and a Shatter. Nope, Shatter will get used. Once again, we're seeing the dilemma where a Shatter gets spent and the follow-up damage is just not there. Shellshock on the nano boosted D.Va trying to get something done here, will be able to do so, getting Riley and Abandon, taking him out of the fight. No one can desuit this D.Va. It does look like the D.Va bomb. 1-2 for the team and for the record books here as Illy gets a quick kill there on Nakua. Snowshoe just trying to prove a point there with that Deadeye, taking Agathon out from spawn. And Morningstar now in a tricky situation as Dead Inside continues to tear through the team.
I don't know. They might have a touch here, but I don't think it's going to be a very good one.
So there
I mean,
Sid Vicious gets a mad charge there onto Discern. Sound barrier to kind of put the last nail into the coffin there from Illy. Beautiful pulse bomb from Dead Inside to take Blue Boxers out of the fight. And like you said, there's not really much they can do but hope for an overtime take. Oh, 5 seconds left.
They took it with time. That's huge. I mean, taking it with time here, they're gonna be able to get another attack. They're playing for the win, not just the draw here. It kind of all really went wrong here for Kraken Skulls. They had a really good hold there. You know, eventually just kind of got dumpstered by Dumpster Divers. You know, sorry for the pun, but they got dumpstered by that Grab Dragon combo, which is incredibly hard to counter, even with that Immortality field. And then they weren't able to stabilize after that one lost fight that they had there on Streets near the start of the overtime phase. And they never really recovered. They were always going into fights a man down. And that's just never going to do you any good because it's going to feed the ult economy of the other team. And it's hard to win in a team-based game when you're down a teammate.
Yeah, especially when you have Dead Inside on that Tracer continuously coming forward into your spawns. And, you know, you saw time and time again that Dead Inside was taking out a DPS, a support, before the fights even started, before they even got back to their team. So, like you said, we never really got to see Kraken get a full 6-man fight there towards the end.
No, and I mean, Agathon, he took some interesting positions and he got punished for them a lot. Nevitz hit a couple of nice sleeps on him. That made it really difficult for them to play that McCree, which, you know, not so great, but we're going to see a double sniper possibly coming out here. Agathon, he did some work on Widow earlier, so hopefully we're going to see more work coming in here as well.
You know, what better to take on double snipers than double shield? Could be something that can work out. You have the dome shield from the Orisa and the deployable shield from the Sigma, able to throw that up and completely cut off the sidelines of Agathon and Discern here.
Yeah, Agathon and Discern need to be looking for some hard flank angles if they're gonna want to, you know, split the attention of the defensive bunker here. And I mean, Agathon's already doing that. That is some good work coming out. Discern, though, needs to find their own angle.
Big anti-nade comes in onto Dumpster Divers as Kraken Skulls tries to make a point here by taking point A extremely quick. Dead Inside and Shellshock, however, have something else to say about that as that Accretion takes Riley and a band out of the fight and follows it up with a quick kill onto Morningstar. So both supports in the pocket with Shellshock there at the end of the fight.
Yeah, Shellshock put in a lot of work there on the Sigma, doing a lot of work. Sigma's another one of those off-tank heroes that's really hard for a team to kill, and it showed there. He put in work, got a lot of kills. Morningstar using that res there is less than ideal because they're going to have to wait for that, and they're not going to have it available in the fight. But I thought that they were going to take that point, and then it all changed very, very quickly, large part in thanks to Shellshock.
And now he's quite close to that Gravatic Flux there, which is a devastating ultimate that we have seen in team streams more than once. There goes the Amplification Matrix from Illy, looking to find himself an easy kill, and Shellshock decides to go ahead and take him up on that twice as he takes out both TPS for Kraken Skulls.
Yeah, I'm surprised Agathon... Good, I like the flank angles, but just playing them a little bit too close to the edge, they're getting picked off. And the swap here, I like the swap onto the Pharah. The Pharah Junkrat, that's a lot of spam. I see what they're going for here, just going to try to put a lot of damage into their shields.
Pharah can get those rockets either onto or behind the shields, depending on the angles here. So a lot of pressure on Snowshoe, dead inside an Alien, but Snowshoe going to be the first one to fall. And with no mercy on the side of Dumpster Divers, there will not be a res. There goes the Gravatic Flex, finding 3 in its pool and not able, however, to secure any kills. The Dragons as well being thrown out on deaf ears. Zagathon and Discern find themselves a couple of kills. Blue Box to follow, and this could be huge. Dead inside now the only person left to contest, but even then it's more of a futile effort as he's just a lonely Hanzo versus a full 6-man squad.
Does manage to find an exit kill, but that's more or less just for the stats as opposed to... Yeah, as to actually affecting the outcome of the fight. Good work there. They got through those shields that were deployed. You know, Kua threw down that shatter, got some big picks. Agathon doing work from above. Nobody able to really counter that. And Snowshoe getting picked off early is always going to put you at a disadvantage. You never want to be the team to lose a person in the opening stages of a fight. But these swaps onto the Rein Zarya, I'm excited. We're getting the Rein Zarya matchup on streets I always wanted.
Now everything's gonna get a little bit more brawly, ladies and gentlemen. There goes the Nanoboot and on to Sid Vicious. May wall to make sure that Kua cannot escape. Kua not gonna fall on his own. Beautiful job there by Shellshock to bait out the charge and use the bubble to make it so that nothing can happen as Discern gets a little bit of a last minute kill onto Illy, but that really will not matter much coming in the next fight. Illy will be back.
I like the swap, Illy swapping off the Baptiste over to the Lucio. I think Lucio gets a lot of value with a Rein Zarya combination. Just having the ability to quickly speed your Reinhardt in and out of the fights, and then also that little boost that you get from his E ability is going to be absolutely massive to keeping your Reinhardt up, because that burst really is what's important.
Approaching this next elbow, and Piper, this is one of the moments of King... Oh, similar to that archway, not, 30 meters away. But this first corner at the bookshop can be so difficult to break through.
It's a really good choke for defenders to hold. I mean, the flanking areas don't really line up that well, and you're going to be forced to use some ultimates here. Unfortunately, Discern's Tire is not going to get anything, so they're going to have to throw something else out here.
Throwing out the Blizzard from the opposite side of the field, however, and that's going to get Blue Boxers into a tight situation, but it's going to be Kua who's going to be finding himself a tombstone to engrave upon, as they're going to have to retreat out of the fight. Discern with that martyrdom once again able to find a kill, and I think this is the most amount of martyrdom kills that I've seen ever in an Owlet match.
Yeah, I'm very shocked that it's happening, especially to a hero like Lucio, who has the ability to speed away. Really shocked to see that happen. The big thing is now ult economy looking pretty good here in favor of Kraken, so they're gonna need to use some ults here to make it happen, and that's a huge shatter. Oh my god!
Shatter to put him on the ground, Graviton around them all up, Barrage to send them to the grave. Beautiful job there. They used a little bit much. I'm not gonna overlook that point.
I think that qualifies for overkill. Shatter, grab, barrage. Yeah, you're dead when that happens.
Looks like we have a late high noon from Dead Inside. Oh, amplified too! So although the payload will move on to the second point, with 2 minutes and counting, they will have time to push through.
Yeah,
so
Kua's
going to find themselves a little bit of a stopper there. Oh, maybe not.
Oh, but that nano is going to be absolutely huge here for Sid Vicious.
Oh, nano match with the big shatter. He's able to find 3 within that shatter. Shellshock and Sid both mining up the kills there. Shellshock now able to put that Graviton online as we are looking for Discern to make a big play here with this Junkrat Tire. He doesn't really have anything to pair it with, though.
Yeah, I mean, tires are really hard because the minute you hear that thing, that's what everybody's looking for. And Big grab here coming in from Shell Shock, getting a lot of members of Kraken Skulls.
Not a lot of follow-up damage, however, coming through. It looks like Sid and Dead are going to be able to muscle in and find themselves a couple of fills. Kua getting out-positioned there off to the left, but he will charge himself back towards the spawn. And now we're seeing the aggression come out from Shell Shock and the rest of Dumpster Divers. They want to go ahead and put this map to an end. They don't want to attack again.
No, and that's very smart from them. Some well-tempered aggression. The only thing, it looks like they're going to have the ult economy in their favor here, Snowshow having that Blizzard, but they have to be careful. If Discern and Agathon use their very, very good damage ultimates, they could easily start a rolling effect here and finish with some time.
Let's see what they're able to do. Discern pulling out that Junkrat tire, using it to go through the high ground. He's going to find any kills with it. He's able to find two, Snowshoe and Sid, both getting taken out. And now Agathon, nope, no barrage online anymore. Agathon taken out by Dead inside. And then the flanking high charge Zarya looking for the kill onto the supports here, but really just a stall tactic and a sacrificial lamb.
But that's a big contest. That's absolutely huge. I mean, look at how much time Shell Shock just wasted there. The rest of the team got really far forward. They might be not able to finish with time because of that contest from Shell Shock, and Shell Shock's going to get back for this last fight anyways.
We'll see what's able to happen. Agathon going over the top there, getting it ready for that barrage. They have everything that they need. There goes the nano boost. There goes the charge. High Noon as well. High Noon grabs 3 as the Reinhardt is no longer there to help out the team. Nano boosted May sleeping on the point, but that's all right. Barrage comes through from Agathon. Beautiful sleep dart from Nevitz to finish that up again. And once again, we have seen these sleep darts just be absolutely crazy on both sides of the field, but it will be Dumpster Divers that are waking up.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that in the opening stages of both those rounds, it looked like Kraken Skulls were going to be the stronger team here. But it started to kind of fall apart, but then they brought it back on the attack. They had a really strong opening, and then some great holds coming in from Dumpster Divers. Great plays. Shell Shock with a beautiful, beautiful flanking contest, even though that was kind of a stagger kill. Just how big was that contest? Wasted so much time and was able to get back for that last fight anyways.
He took a good, 10, 15 minutes off of the clock right now.
Yeah, I mean, that was really big, and I think that was kind of a contributing factor for Dumpster Divers, being able to take this this third map here of King's Row.
So now we are going to be going into our final map here, and this is going to be the decider on whether or not we get to see the beautiful grounds of Lijiang Tower. But we will be going into Havana, sometimes pronounced Havana, next after this short break.
Prepare to attack. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Get 'em, make you feel better. Audio, better.
I am
Get 'em, make you feel better. Audio, better. Get 'em, make you feel better. Audio, better.
Alrighty, Piper, here we go. This could be it. We could be going to one more map. I don't know what's going to be happening here. I'm sitting at the edge of my seat. I'm hoping all of you guys out there are sitting at the edge of your seats because we are about to go into what could be the final map of tonight's game. You've been sitting here watching Kraken Skulls go at Dumpster Divers all night, and it's myself, Shadow24, and my buddy Piper that are bringing you the action. Piper, Havana, like we said earlier, it's a map where strategies really aren't concrete yet. So what do you think we're going to be seeing here? A little bit of pirate ship, a little bit of double barrier, maybe double sniper?
You know, I would never, just to get this right off the bat, I would never wish any team bad luck, but I do hope Dumpster Divers lose this map because this Overwatch has just been so good, and I want to see that map 5. I want more of it. But, I mean, they've been playing really well, Dumpster Divers. They showed it to us there in Kings Row that they can play really well, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that carrying forward. As for what we're going to see here on Havana, I think there's so many different things that we could possibly see on this map. The first point, you know, there are sight lines for snipers. We did see some of that double sniper, lots of Hanzo coming out, so I wouldn't be shocked if we saw that. You know, we also get good far sight lines there on the first point, so that also wouldn't be shocking to me. And also for tank lines, you know, Arisus, Sigma, pretty good here. But I also wouldn't be surprised if we saw some of these teams running that Ryan Zarya, because we saw that was something they were willing to run. So really, it's hard to say because there's so much that they could run and so many different strats that could work on the different points here that I am excited to see what we're going to see.
Speaking of being excited, so are some of these substitutions that are coming in for this, what could be possibly a map. We're seeing a player that we have not seen yet in this matcher. We're seeing Hooper come in on the side of, I believe that is for Dumpster Divers, and we are seeing DJ Gigabit come back in as well as Professor Llama for Kraken Skulls.
Along with that, we also have Frode coming in for Kraken Skulls
support
as well and both of those are supports. So maybe these guys, obviously both playing support, maybe they're going to be the support duo to really crack things open here for Kraken Skulls.
We'll see what they're able to do.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see for sure. I'm excited that they're bringing out the Orisa Hog. They were incredibly good at this on Ilios. Their halt hooks were honestly near close to perfect. It won them a lot of fights, and that's really why they won that first point of well.
Alrighty, well, see if they're able to bring back the luck, the halt hook, the pulled pork that they were able to so successfully use earlier in this matchup. Just to remind you guys at home, we have Kraken Skulls in the blue and Dumpster Divers in the red on the attack. Both teams are going to be utilizing that halt hook combo. Looks like neither hook is going to be landing off of the bat as the payload begins its movement. Hooper getting a little bit low there on the Orisa, begging for healing from the rest of his team. There's the first hook of the game, getting Professor Llama, but it's not going to be able to secure a kill because of a beautiful boop coming in from Frode there to get that Roadhog completely out of danger. Another halt hook comes in. Blue Boxer gets hooked up. He's not going to get taken out this time. No siree. There's a little bit of posturing and a little bit of a shield game here as another halt hook comes in, and this one finally lands on both sides of the fence. May and Azalea both getting taken out, but we were going to have to see Dumpster Divers retreat as they've lost their main healer.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot more hooks there coming out, but unfortunately, tank heroes, when they get hooked, do have a little bit more meat on their bones, so they're usually able to escape. But it really came down to there, when the hooks finally hit squishies, it was the main healer for Dumpster Divers going down as opposed to a DPS.
Snowshoe, however, taking the hook out of the halt hook combo indefinitely. They will be throwing out a very early set of dragons that will take Illy out of the fight. He's not happy about that. Azalea does have the res, so you will see that Zenyatta come back into the fight, but not that Lucio. As the Deadeye from Snowshoe, it goes ahead and takes him out. Looks like Discern gonna grab one as well, evening the scales out in a 5v4 now within the point. Looks like we will see a whole hog from Shell Shock as well, trying to push people out with that crowd control as both teams' superchargers hit the ground. Looks like Llama trying to get the upper hand here on the Orisa game, able to find Illy in the very, very back line there, as well as Shell Shock, and now the kills are coming in for Kraken Skulls here in this defense. It looks like they will be able to hold at least one more time.
Very good stabilization there from Kraken Skulls. They fell back. They punished the people that were out of positions there. We saw Illy stray in front of Hooper's shields there. Good work there from Kraken Skulls, stabilizing and not kind of just throwing away the fight there. Holding on to first point here.
Ult economy, however, in favor of Dumpster Divers in this next engagement.
Yeah, and a big pick there coming in from Snowshoe onto blue boxes.
There go the dragons coming out from both sides, hiding dragons within dragons, but it's dead inside. It's going to be the one coming out on top here as far as the kill feed goes as they progress onto the point. Finds himself another kill onto DJ Gigabit, and that's going to be huge, losing that support. No res for Dumpster Divers in the rest of this fight. Kraken.
Yeah, but I think that is going to be a little bit inconsequential, but they're not able to kill Frode on this point, and blue box is coming back now. Could change the tide of things.
Yeah, Lucio Stahl is mighty strong, but they will eventually be able to find themselves in a better positioning here. They're going to go ahead and move this through onto point one as we move into what is, as I call it, the enclosed point.
Yeah,
this to Don Rumbatico's. I believe this is a rum distiller.
I would be willing to bet that if it's in Havana, it's probably a rum distillery. And oh, huge hook there coming in from Shellshock, my lord.
Sorry about that, Orisa. You were supposed to rum as fast as you can away from that hook.
Oh my, that was a bad pun.
I gotta throw in at least one or two. Snowshow as well throwing in one or two, helping Dead inside there with the kill onto Frode and finding himself one onto Meh. Discern, trying to find a revenge kill here towards the end. But still, the pressure being put on by Dumpster Divers. Kraken Skulls not able to restabilize there in the middle of this point. They're gonna have to wait for a late contest.
Yeah, I don't know really what the point is of having their tanks separate. You're playing a tank combo that relies on the synergy of that halt hook combination. That's how you're going to get a lot of kills. But they're splitting up and they're sending blue boxers on these flanks, which are not really working out that well.
Supercharger did get dropped, and the tire will be able to find Hooper as the dragons from Dead Inside take an interesting angle, but do not take any lives. Dead Inside and Snowshoe both finding themselves in tricky situations as the Deadeye finds himself only really doing damage to the shield. Snowshoe, however, on the high ground away from the shield, but a force Kraken Skulls into a bit of a tricky situation. For Flama going to get taken out by Dead Inside there at the beginning of the fight, and now with a four-man advantage as far as the fight goes, we are going to see this point move through.
I think the big thing there is the difference in how they were playing these comps, as they are fairly close together. The key difference was that the tank line of Dumpster Divers was playing together a lot more, while their DPS were going for more flanks. Whereas we saw this tank line of Kraken Skulls splitting up more, but their DPS playing more behind that shield. And it's not working out that well. Your tanks really have to stick together in this bunker comp.
And it can be really oppressive when you do have a Rissa hog that are just basically trampling over your front line. We haven't seen Professor Llama or Blue Boxers really be able to get established to use that synergy that you're
Yeah, I'm surprised. Even Blue Boxers, it seems almost like they want to make the combo happen, but they're just, I don't know what the opportunity is they're waiting for, but it's not happening. And I mean, Hooper and Shellshock have it down way more, and they're finding way more picks from it.
Definitely. There goes the whole hog from Shellshock to go ahead and say, get your halt hook out of here. We're going to keep this moving. Supercharger comes out. Dragons from the left. Those could be huge, but thanks to Illy, there's a Transcendence to keep Dumpster Divers in this fight. Blue Boxers does get hooked, and like you said, he is a bit of a meteor target, but as he uses that whole hog, he can't heal himself up, and Illy is going to take advantage of that. Dragon Blade into the back line, finds one, looking for the Hanzo, looking for another. He is able to find that and Discern, now putting himself into a bit of a strong position as he's in the back line, no supports, and there goes that four-legged horse off the side of the map, Orisa falling to her death.
But the big thing there is that was a lot of ultimates from Kraken Skulls to win that fight. We had to see a beat come out, a blade, whole hog, and pretty much everything they had to pull out there to win that fight. So, you know what? If I'm Dumpster Divers, I'm pretty happy that we lost that fight and got that many ultimates out.
Yep, ult economy is a beautiful thing, and if you don't have it, it can be quite difficult to get it back. Hooper going to be able to use that supercharger as we see a very long distance Dragons coming out from dead inside. Just kind of making a little bit of space for his team on the point, allowing Hooper to move forward and put that shield back down. Dead inside taking Discern out of the fight, which is absolutely huge. Discern has been such an effective DPS for Kraken Skulls on this defense that without him, this could get a little bit tricky. Dead inside posturing on the high ground on that Hanzo, finds himself a beautiful vantage point to shred a little bit of shields and find himself a couple of heads to collect. But now that Discern's back in the fight, things beginning to slow down just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, both teams here, it's really the name of the game is who's going to break shields first or find a pick. And Snowshow is going to open it up with a kill on the blue boxers.
And that could be huge, taking one of those main tanks, one of those shield tanks out of the fight completely. Professor Llama off on his own, being forced and zoned out of the fight as Dead Inside decides to take his pick of the supports. Snowshot going to find the other one as well. Big Res coming in to keep Snowshow in the fight as he has the Deadeye up. There it is. The Sigma shield goes down, gets repositioned. The Deadeye not able to find anything except for meh in the end of this fight, but the kill feed runs red with the blood of Kraken Skulls.
You know what, though? I think that they can be happy with, the fact that they were, able to hang on to it here. That is a good performance, being able to stabilize and hold out to make it into overtime. And as long as they get a good attack here, I think that they still have a chance to be in this map.
Defense says everything, but we have already seen Dumpster Divers do this before. Lead an impressive push, and then come back on the defense and, just kind of drive it home.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what they did on King's Road, the map we just saw. So maybe that's going to be fresh in the minds of Kraken Skulls. But I think they played pretty well. They just, couple holds didn't go their way. If they played one or two fights a little bit differently, I think they could have held a lot better. And they just didn't really get a solid hold on that second point anyways. So the fact that they held them to overtime shows me that they probably weren't as bad as Dumpster Divers getting a full push. But it's really going to come down to here, are they going to be able to use this Rein Zarya into the Orisa Sigma? We saw them have some success with it on Hanamura, but then we also saw them have no success at all on Ilios. So an interesting choice from them, especially because I probably would have been predicting this Orisa Sigma pick. I mean, Hooper, we've only seen play the Orisa, but maybe they have a game plan here. Maybe they're going to go through that cafe and make some big plays happen. So I'm excited to see it, and we're about to get right into it.
Both teams are bringing out the stops in what could be the final push of the night for us here at the Outlet in the preseason. Kraken Skulls looking to even the score up to a 2-2, and Dumpster Divers looking to take this home with a very aggressive and frontline defense.
But there's a little sneaky flank going on here from Discern, but Discern not being in the fight, I think, is probably having its impacts.
Yeah, Snowshoe able to find himself a kill off to the side onto the flanking Reaper as Discern gets the freeze onto Shellshock, and that could be huge. Is that Stigma is mighty vulnerable, but beautiful immortality from Illy going to keep Shellshock alive there. Maywall getting used, not really separating anybody off, but Shellshock's going to go ahead and return the favor and said, freeze me? Nah, kill you. That's my decision here. As Blue Boxer on the high charge, Zarya tries to position for a little bit of posturing, keep themselves alive as they wait for their main tank to come back. Does not want to lose that charge and all of that value, but they are going to be losing a Moira in the process, as well as about a minute in time here. And now the payload is in a position where you don't get to use it for protection, and you have a lot of open space to get to it.
And I mean, Snowshow using that ult there, that's going to be the end of this fight. I think Professor Llama there went out a little bit ahead of time. DJ Gigabit getting picked there, that's a huge stagger. Those are the kind of things that you don't want to see happen. They need to get a hard regroup here. It wasn't a bad first push and what they put in for a minute, but they needed to regroup, and I think they just wasted probably a good minute of their time by some half-hearted fights and staggers.
Yeah, but not to mention that Dumpster Divers has keeping with the track of keeping those ults online, and Snowshow has just been absolutely almost borderline impulsive one could say, with those dead eyes, but the dragon and the grav flux are going to come into effect as Frode and May both get taken out. You lose a DPS, you lose one of your healers, you need to back out of the fight now. You only have 2 minutes left, and you don't have the ults that you want coming into this next fight. You're going to have to wait for another 30 seconds for that engagement.
But I think the big thing is that those two ults getting used actually swings the ult economy way, way, way into the favor of Kraken Skulls, and they're going to need to use some of their ults quickly here, and we see that Blizzard coming out already.
No one, however, oh no, Shell Shot going to be caught up in that Blizzard, but there's no one for the follow-up damage. It looks like Prof Llama going to go ahead and peel back towards that Sigma to do a little bit more damage. Supercharger coming out late as another Deadeye gets spit, and oh, it's huge! He finds 3, not able to get past the shield, but those not behind the shield do not get protection. Big res comes in onto Shell Shock there very late, towards the end of his res timer, I would say, as Prof Llama gets taken out of the fight with a minute left. This could be big, as the ults are now coming back online for Dumpster Divers within this next fight, and all you have is the Grav and possibly a Death Blossom as long as you can keep May alive.
You can't let that happen. You can't let yourself get caught out by a Deadeye. Deadeye is more of a zoning ultimate than a killing ultimate, but if you need to make sure that you have an escape plan at all times. 3 of you can't die to a Deadeye. I mean, Discern was just running towards Snowshow like he wasn't about to shoot him in the face. You can't let those things happen, and that's really why they lost that fight there.
In this next fight, both teams losing a main tank. The Graviton gets spent out, and man, trying to do what he can, but he gets stunned out of the Death Blossom, and that's absolutely crucial. Snowshow showing up big, but May's not happy about that. Gonna take him out of the fight. Hooper looking to get a little bit of vengeance, tip the scales back in their favor as they fight on. The Sound Barrier has been used by Froze, so the Dragons have free reign on the point. The Ice Block for Discern, they are able to keep people alive, but the kills still coming in for Dumpster Diver. The payload just meters away from point A as the Amp Matrix from Illy looks to drive this home for Dumpster Divers. It's just Professor Llama on the point, and ladies and gentlemen, you have it. Dumpster Divers is going to be taking the day here at Havana.
Yeah, good work there from Dumpster Divers. They were just the better team at the end of the day. Kraken making a lot of just mental errors that you can't let happen. You always got to make sure that there's cover nearby, or you know for a fact that you're gonna get dead-eyed, or whatever ultimate that is. You have to make sure you have an escape plan, and they didn't do that. And Deadeye is one of the easier ultimates to escape. Other things, using their ultimates but not being ready for the cooldowns. I mean, Mesh should have been watching to see if a flashbang was going to get used before he used that, because that's really the only thing that could have stopped him there. And they weren't ready for that. And just the things like that they were missing is really, really, really what gave Dumpster Divers the advantage, because Dumpster Divers were doing all those things right.
I agree 100%, and I do think that Snowshow, not just because of that flashbang or that Deadeye in the, but I do think that Snowshow made quite the argument for an MVP vote.
Yeah, I mean, but Dead Inside as well. I also saw a lot of flanking angles, a lot of kills that probably shouldn't have happened, but just came about as a result of their raw skill. I think Dumpster Divers is showing that they have one of the most dangerous DPS combos in Owlet with Snowshow and Dead Inside. They were incredibly strong, the two of them, and they're going to be a huge threat for teams to deal with going forward.
You hear that, guys? Better watch out for these two. Snowshow and Dead Inside, they are going to be gunning for the top spot and for your heads during these matches, so you better be watching out. Is there anything you'd like to say about Kraken Skulls? Any of those members you might want to throw up for an MVP vote?
Well, I think Blue Boxers had some pretty good performances in some parts of the match. Kua as well, I thought was a very strong main tank, especially on King's Row, put in some good performances. Just wasn't able to get their team over the edge. But I also think you got to give some credit where credit's due to the support line of Kraken Skulls. They did a very good job. And also Rigo, we saw as the DPS on that Junkrat go absolutely...
Fantastic Junkrat.
Yeah, absolutely huge on Hanamura, which was their map win, which really came down to their Junkrat's performance. So, but I think we've really got to look... Dumpster Divers, I think, was the better team here. And I would go and say Snowshow probably would be our MVP today.
Well, there you have it, folks. You've just witnessed Kraken Skulls and Dumpster Divers. Dumpster Divers able to come on top in the 3-1. So you'll be able to see a lot of these teams as the regular season does come into play in, I believe, just under a week. Or just past the weekend, I believe our regular season will be beginning.
I believe it is this weekend that the regular season does begin.
So make sure that if you guys want to see all the real action, not these teams trying out some fun stuff, not playing their real strats, not showing their full hands, then make sure that you're following the Owlet tournament here on Twitch, over on Twitter, and then in the chat, there will be a link for the Discord, so make sure you join up there. That's where you can find all the juicy good bits before they even go live. But a huge thanks goes out to Dumpster Divers and Kraken Skulls for coming out and trying their hardest here in this fight. And from JackyB, myself, Piper, and all of the staff here at Owlet Tournament, thank you guys so much for tuning in.